Hey, it's Breakfast Club.
Shut up!
You're just feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah, if I did, nobody else would.
Oh, you're breaking my home. Sport him? What? You get along with your parents? Well, if I say yes, I'm in, right? You're an idiot anyway. But if you say you get along with your parents, well, you're a liar, too.
Here's my dinner. Roasted chicken with mashed potatoes.
You know something?
Mm-mm-mm.
We want to do it right now. I'd waste you. Can you hear this? You want me to turn it out? I don't like my parents either.
Today is Thursday, July 31st, 2014. It is 5:28 p.m. right now. It's Thursday again, like I said. And tomorrow's Friday. Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers. Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers. Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers. Hello, how are you doing?
Good.
I truly look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, I get paid, and Friday's always good to hang out and do stuff. As of today is the last day of July. And tomorrow begins August already. There you go. There, August. Oh. So, got the calendar set for tomorrow. August 1st starts tomorrow. Great. That means winter is not great. That means winter isn't too far behind. August, September, October, November. See, look at that. November. Oh no. December. Let's enjoy the rest of summer while it's still here. Tomorrow. It's Friday again. I'm off of work. Unplug that clock. Look what I got on my phone. My friend Jacqueline fixed the color on this phone. That's better. My friend Jacqueline. I don't. I went out with her the other day for coffee. It was a nice date. I had me a margarita for the first time. Had me quite a hangover after that. It's Friday again. It's August 1st, 2014. It's 2:09 p.m. It's August. Next month is September. It's nice, hot, and sunny out there right now. September comes around. After that, it's going to get colder. Let me enjoy the last couple weeks of summer. And I will start it by having some KFC for my late lunch. KFC, they gotta do better. They have to come up with something where these lids don't pop off and spill in the bag. This one's almost gone already. Look at that. So you got some wedges. Got the 20-piece meal. This is the meal where any meal you get, I think it's 10 pieces or more, you get 2 free extra sides. Here I got 7 sides. See, wedges, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, and this sick mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is sick. I got my lunch all made up. Extra crispy chicken. See this? That's part of the bag that got stuck to this cup. All because these lids on here, they don't stay sealed too good. Hopefully somebody with KFC sees this video and comes up with a better way to keep these lids from popping off and spilling in the bag like that, and make it look empty like that because it's spilled all over stuff. McDonald's too. Ever go to McDonald's and the bag just disintegrates whenever it gets a bit wet? The food falls out. It's happened to me before. Well, going to enjoy what's left of the summer that's still here by having some KFC for lunch. KFC, man! I found a new place to eat at the edge of my bed where I lay my head down to sleep. There's a fire truck coming by, about to go by.
On taxes, Republicans want to maintain some corporate loopholes that I think need to be closed, because I think that we should be giving tax breaks to families that are struggling with child care or trying to save their college education. Health care, obviously, their view is that we should not be folks get health care, even though it's through the private marketplace.
This is on every channel, I believe.
Everybody has access to affordable care. Those are, but getting our ambassadors,
like this has like a 2-second delay.
making sure that we pass legislation to strengthen down there. Those shouldn't be controversial. Hard pressed to find an example of where I wouldn't welcome some reasonable efforts to get a bill passed up. Last question, Michelle Kaczynski. Michelle Kaczynski.
Difficult conflicts in the past. Both sides had to reach a point where they were tired of the bloodshed. Do you think that we are actually far from that point right now? And is it realistic to try to broker a ceasefire right now? When there's still tunnel operations allowed to continue? Is that going to cause a change of approach?
Had been agreed to would have given Israel the capability to continue to dismantle. The Israelis can't.
See, this is
Out in Gaza, major population centers in Gaza. I think the Israelis are entirely right that the mantle. There is a way of doing it while still people have to feel anybody who's been watching some of these images I'd like to think should recognize the costs. You have children who are getting killed. You have women, defenseless, who are getting killed. You have Israelis whose lives are disrupted constantly, and living in fear. And those are costs that are avoidable if we're able to get a ceasefire that preserves Israel's ability to defend itself and gives it the capacity to have an assurance that they're not going to be constantly threatened by rocket fire in the future, and conversely, an agreement that recognizes the Palestinian need to be able to make a living and the average Palestinian's capacity to live a decent life. But it's hard. It's going to be hard to get there. I think that there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of despair, and that's a volatile mix. But we have to keep trying. And it is, Bill asked earlier about American leadership. Part of the reason why America remains indispensable, part of the essential ingredient in American leadership, is that we're willing to plunge in and try, where other countries don't bother trying. I mean, the fact of the matter is that in all these crises that have been mentioned, there may be some tangential risks to the United States. In some cases, as in Iraq and ISIS, those are dangers that have to be addressed right now, and we have to take them very seriously. But for the most part, these are not, the rockets aren't being fired into the United States. The reason we are concerned is because we recognize we've got some special responsibilities. We have to have some humility about what we can and can't accomplish. We have to recognize that our resources are finite, and we're coming out of a decade of war, and our military has been stretched very hard, as has our budget. Nevertheless, we try. We go in there and we make an effort. And when I see John Kerry going out there and trying to broker a ceasefire, we should all be supporting him. There shouldn't be a bunch of complaints and second guessing about, well, it hasn't happened yet, or nitpicking before he's had a chance to complete his efforts. Because I tell you what, there isn't any other country that's going in there and making those efforts. And more often than not, as a consequence of our involvement, we get better outcomes. Not perfect outcomes, not immediate outcomes, but we get better outcomes. And that's going to be true with respect to the Middle East. That's going to be true with respect to Ukraine. That's going to be certainly true with respect to Iraq.
We're going to miss Flipper.
And I think it's useful for me to end by just reminding folks that in my first term, if I had a press conference like this, typically, everybody want to ask about the economy and how come jobs weren't being created, and how come the housing market's still bad, and why isn't it working? And, well, you know what? Well, we did work, and the economy's better. And when I say that we've just had 6 months of more than 200,000 jobs, that hasn't happened in 17 years. That shows you the power of persistence. It shows you that if you stay at it, eventually we make some progress. All right? I thought that you guys were going to ask me how I was going to spend my birthday. What happened to the happy birthday thing? I will address 2 points. I'll address. Hold on, guys. Come on. There's just. You're not that pent up. I've been giving you questions lately. On Brennan and the CIA, the RDI report has been transmitted. The declassified
fire alarm.
Version that will be released at the pleasure of the Senate committee. I have full confidence in John Brennan.
Ever tried using
I think he has acknowledged and
smartphones
directly
against
apologized
stuff
to
with
Senator
greasy
Feinstein
hands,
that
leave all these
CIA personnel did
fingerprints
not
and
properly
smudges all
handle
over
an
the
investigation as to how
screen.
certain documents that were not authorized to be released to the Senate staff got somehow into the hands of the Senate staff. And it's clear from the IG report that some very poor judgment was shown in terms of how that was handled. Keep in mind, though, that John Brennan was the person who called for the IG report. And he has already stood up a task force to make sure that lessons are learned and mistakes are resolved. With respect to the larger point of the RDI report itself, even before I came into office, I was very clear that in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, we did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right, but we tortured some folks. We did some things that were contrary to our values. I understand why it happened. I think it's important when we look back to recall how afraid people were after the Twin Towers fell and the Pentagon had been hit and the plane in Pennsylvania had fallen, and people did not know whether more attacks were imminent. And there was enormous pressure on our law enforcement and our national security teams to try to deal with this. It's important for us not to feel too sanctimonious in retrospect about the tough job that those folks had. And a lot of those folks were working hard under enormous pressure and are real patriots. But having said all that, we did some things that were wrong. And that's what that report reflects. And that's the reason why after I took office, one of the first things I did was to ban some of the extraordinary interrogation techniques that are the subject of that report. And my hope is that this report reminds us once again that the character of our country has to be measured in part not by what we do when things are easy, but what we do when things are hard. And when we engaged in some of these enhanced interrogation techniques that I believe, and I think any fair-minded person would believe, were torture, we crossed the line. And that needs to be that needs to be understood and accepted. And we have to, as a country, take responsibility for that, so that hopefully we don't do it again in the future. Now, I gave you a question. So
After U.S.-Africa,
we've got a U.S.-Africa summit coming up next week. It is going to be an unprecedented gathering of African leaders. The importance of this for America needs to be understood. Africa is one of the fastest growing continents in the world. You've got 6 of the 10 fastest growing economies in Africa. You have all sorts of other countries like China and Brazil and India deeply interested in working with Africa, not to extract natural resources alone, which traditionally has been the relationship between Africa and the rest of the world, but now because Africa is growing and you've got thriving markets and you've got entrepreneurs and extraordinary talent among the people there. And Africa also happens to be one of the continents where America is most popular. And people feel a real affinity for our way of life. And we've made enormous progress over the last several years in not just providing traditional aid to Africa, helping countries that are suffering from malnutrition or helping countries that are suffering from AIDS, but rather partnering and thinking about how can we trade more and how can we do business together. And that's the kind of relationship that Africa is looking for. And I've had conversations over the last several months with U.S. businesses, some of the biggest U.S. businesses in the world, and they say, Africa, that's one of our top priorities. We want to do business with those folks. And we think that we can create U.S. jobs and send U.S. exports to Africa. But we've got to be engaged, and so this gives us a chance to do that. It also gives us a chance to talk to Africa about security issues. Because, as we've seen, terrorist networks try to find places where governance is weak and security structures are weak, and if we want to keep ourselves safe over the long term, then one of the things that we can do is make sure that we are partnering with some countries that really have pretty effective security forces and have been deploying themselves in peacekeeping and conflict resolution efforts in Africa. And that ultimately can save us and our troops and our military a lot of money if we've got strong partners who are able to deal with conflicts in these regions. So it's going to be a terrific conference. I won't lie to you, traffic will be bad here in Washington. I know that everybody's been warned about that, but we are really looking forward to this, and I think it's going to be a great success. Now, last thing I'm going to say about this, because I know that it's been on people's minds, is the issue of Ebola. This is something that we take very seriously. As soon as there is an outbreak anywhere in the world of any disease that could have significant effects, the CDC is in communication with the World Health Organization and other multilateral agencies to try to make sure that we've got an appropriate response. This has been a more aggressive Ebola outbreak than we've seen in the past, but keep in mind that it is still affecting parts of 3 countries, and we've got some 50 countries represented at this summit. We are doing 2 things. With respect to the summit itself, we're taking the appropriate precautions. Folks who are coming from these countries that have even a marginal risk or an infinitesimal risk of having been exposed in some fashion, we're making sure we're doing screening on that end as they leave the country. We'll do additional screening when we're here. We feel confident that the procedures that we've put in place are appropriate. More broadly, the CDC and our various health agencies are going to be working very intently with the World Health Organization and some of our partner countries to make sure that we can surge some resources down there and organization to these countries that are pretty poor and don't have a strong public health infrastructure, so that we can start containing the problem. Keep in mind that Ebola is not something that is easily transmitted. That's why generally outbreaks dissipate. But the key is identifying, quarantining, isolating those who contract it, and making sure that practices are in place that avoid transmission. And it can be done, but it's got to be done in an organized, systematic way, and that means that we're going to have to help these countries accomplish that. All right? Okay, there you go, April. That's what I was talking about. Somebody finally wished me happy birthday. Although it is until Monday. You're right. You're right. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, guys.
After nearly an hour at the podium, 52 minutes or so, the President of the United States there in a surprise news conference touching on some of the big issues of the day bedeviling this country and his administration, talking about the fact that he sees the jobs numbers released today, some 300,000 jobs created in this country in July, as positive news. The battle with Congress over the battle on our southern border, the immigration situation, the war underway between Israel and Hamas along Gaza, and to a lesser extent the situation in Ukraine with regard to Russian troops trying to destabilize their sovereign neighbor. I'm John Scotting today for Shepard Smith on the Fox News deck. Let's bring into the discussion someone who...
So he did take aim at the GOP for holding up legislation that he believes would benefit the country. The GOP has been staying an extra day before this recess, for their 5-week recess, trying to hammer out an additional funding bill to address security and resources for
southern part of the Gaza Strip. The Israeli government doesn't know if this soldier is alive, dead, or injured. There is now a massive operation underway in that location in southern Gaza to try and find of immigration.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein, who had said back in March.
Okay.
I have a question. Are we cleaning this up in here? Just.
David.
All right, Richard Engel in Gaza tonight. The president also standing behind John Kerry, as Secretary of State, saying more often than not, when the United States tries to reach a peaceful solution, it can be helpful in getting a better solution, even if it's not a perfect solution. Those efforts will continue. More tonight on NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams. I'm David Gregory in Washington. Have a good afternoon.
Sally, you hang in there with 200...
Israeli troops as possible to search those areas.
Star them on ABC News phone apps. And, of course, Diane Sawyer will have a complete wrap-up later tonight on World News. I am Ron Claiborne in New York. Have a good afternoon.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Of my nutrition, and this is
Sirens keep going off. The operation is intensifying. It's getting more serious as the hours go on right now. The notion that another ceasefire is going to happen anytime soon is really, really remote. Israeli officials say they're not interested, at least for now, in another ceasefire. They don't trust Hamas. They think Hamas had a chance to honor this ceasefire. They blame Hamas directly for breaking the ceasefire. They're very pleased that President Obama, Secretary of State Kerry now have almost completely endorsed Israel's version of what happened. The statement the president just made, the written statement the Secretary Kerry made a few hours ago, they blame Hamas for breaking this ceasefire. They say Hamas must release that soldier immediately, as soon as possible, if there's going to be any hope to end the bloodshed, the violence, what's going on in Gaza right now. The president at the same time did express his concern over the civilian casualties in Gaza. He says it was painful for him, for everyone else, to see children and women and everyone else, the innocent civilians who have been killed. But he did note, as the Israelis repeatedly do, that Hamas deliberately places their rocket launchers, their other military operations in the midst of populated civilian centers. That's what Israel says. Now the President of the United States says the same thing. So Israelis are pleased that the President seems to be fully behind them, at least right now, and the Secretary of State. They don't have any illusions that a ceasefire is about to happen anytime soon.
Yeah. Wolf, I want to bring in our Jim Sciutto, Chief National Security Correspondent. Jim, what are you hearing in terms of Hamas? Conflicting reports. One Hamas official talking to Turkish media had said that they did have a soldier, then telling CNN that they have no information about that. What do you know?
Well, when I spoke to Osama Hamdan from Doha, he's a Hamas spokesman earlier today, he denied that Hamas captured this soldier. But interesting in the president's comments there, because as you say, unequivocal support for Israel, but also unequivocal blame for Hamas in this case, although the president identified what is an alarming possibility, and that is that Hamas does not have control over all the militant factions in Gaza, the Islamic Jihad and other groups there. And that's a real problem, because then who do you negotiate with in the short term for the release of this Israeli soldier, in the medium term for a ceasefire, but longer term for something lasting, a longer term ceasefire, any sort of agreement? If Hamas does not have control, then who sits at the other side of the table? And that's a real problem going forward. And it's not the first time we've dealt with this. Questions about who took that soldier. There are also questions about who took and killed those 3 Palestinian teens in the West Bank 2 weeks ago, which helped lead to the Israeli offensive in Gaza. Did they get an order from on high in the Hamas leadership? There are real questions about that. And that makes the solution to this problem all the more difficult. Now, as the president said, whether or not Hamas has control over those groups, he holds them responsible. They have to get them in line. But it raises a real alarming reality going forward.
And Jim, there are a number of scenarios about the statement that a Hamas official made to you. One part of Hamas could not know what the other part of Hamas did, the political wing not knowing what the military wing is up to. They may not be in control, as you said, of all the factions there. There are other possibilities as well, though, and it's worth just kind of running over them. One, they could be flat out lying, trying to get, if in fact they have taken the soldier, try to get, buy time to get the soldier to an area where they can hold that soldier out of the immediate area where they took the soldier. And in past, a group like Hezbollah has said you don't give out any information about people you have kidnapped or people you have captured, because any information can be used as a bargaining chip to get concessions from Israel.
Absolutely, and it's a very important caveat that you make for our viewers, Anderson. This is war. This is a nasty, brutal war, and oftentimes you can't take the sides at their word. And certainly Hamas, and as you say, a very real possibility is that it's an opportunity to shuffle him away to a place, to buy time to shuffle him away to a place where the Israelis can't find him.
And Israel has acknowledged they do not know whether or not this soldier was alive when taken, or exactly what his condition may be, wounded or not. I want to go live to Elise Labott, Global Affairs correspondent. She's got some new information on how the ceasefire broke down. Elise, what have you learned?
Well, Jim, Anderson, speaking to Egyptian, UN, U.S. officials, I think that what they're trying to do is salvage this and make sure that they don't see it as it totally unraveling, saying, look, this is what happens in the first hours of a ceasefire, that both parties are trying to get the advantage here before the ceasefire starts. And so no one's really clear about the choreography, but they say that Israel did try to take some operations in those tunnels in the area of Gaza, and then Hamas totally overreacted. You saw that death of the Israeli soldiers and then the capturing of the soldier. And that soldier that now seems to be in captivity is really what everyone feels, if you were to get that soldier released, that could salvage this and bring everybody back to the table. The problem is, Anderson, it definitely doesn't seem at this point that you have any mediators that really have total control over the parties. Clearly, the United States has been back and forth with Israel, trying to show support for Israel, but also concerned about those deaths. And it's pretty clear that at this point, Prime Minister Netanyahu is taking the actions that he deems best and not really succumbing to pressure from the United States. But on the Hamas side, you don't have the Egyptian government that you did in 2012 when you had President Morsi negotiating a ceasefire. The relationship between President al-Sisi, his crackdown with the Muslim Brotherhood, really involves this whole shift in politics in the region away from the Islamists. That's very difficult. Now everybody is looking to Qatar, who does have influence on Hamas. And right now, Egyptian and other officials are saying, listen, Qatar needs to step up here, put that pressure on Hamas. Even if they don't have the soldier, they clearly have contacts with one of the Palestinian groups that does. And if that soldier can be released, then perhaps they can salvage this, put a ceasefire in effect.
Oh, I got quite a mess here in my room.
until 6:15 p.m. At 5:38 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located over Heartland, moving southeast to hazard, quarter-size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, damage to vehicles is expected. Locations impacted include Waukesha, Brookfield, Pewaukee, Sussex, Heartland, Delafield, Merton, and Chenequa. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of the building. Torrential rainfall is occurring.
That's better. Forgot something. Oh, I really did forget something. Hold on 1 second. I got myself a brand new addition to my bedroom. This folding tray. Usually, I believe these things are actually called a TV dinner tray. Yes, that's what I got myself. This way, I don't have to keep eating off my bed, the floor, sometimes the chair. Just got back from Walmart. Get this thing off here. Get off here. Get off here. There you go. So, what do y'all think? A new addition to my room. I could eat off it, maybe even use it as a tripod holder for my camera. Like a glove. I also got me a brand new pillow. Look how soft and fluffy this is for my head when I lay me down to sleep. We have storms coming. They're right here on top of us. Oh, look at this. And here comes the rain. Moved myself to the front lobby, the spot I usually go to film this. I just want to see this dark sky right here, and get a new location to film it. And here comes the rain. August 1st, 2014. It's 5:58 a.m. Today is Friday, August 1st, 2014. It's 5:58 p.m. I hope the power goes out again.
I think I'm going to take the tunnel.
I hear somebody's weather radio going off. Hear that? I heard something over here. Whoa. Oh wow. Maybe that flagpole will fall over. Friday Night Live is supposed to be today. It's supposed to be going on in about 30 minutes from now. So it doesn't look like it's going to happen today.
Oh man! It's my life.
Well, Friday Night Live will probably still go on, but they hold the bands inside the venues that are sponsoring them. Pizza guy. What was this? Oh, the storm, like I said. I hope the power goes out. And that flagpole falls over. Hope it doesn't hit nobody. So it'd be nice to watch it fall over, crush some cars. And you got the pizza car. And look like a car by the tree here. There you go, another pizza person coming. though. The ambulance coming down this way. The other day, as mentioned, we're almost in a drought again. I think with this rain. What drought? I think you got hill now. Oh, better go inside. Gotta switch out my memory card. I'll go through here. Where the power goes out. I'll catch it. Look at that view. Gotta go upstairs and get another memory card. Oh. keep this camera rolling until I go upstairs. If the power goes out, good. I'll have her on camera. Okay, like it feels wet. I'm back.
Hi.
Hello.
You have to go back in tomorrow? No. Monday.
The storm's keeping pizza people busy.
Yeah. I didn't get my money yet. It'll come in about midnight tonight. But I borrowed money from somebody at the job. So I'll be fine. I ended up getting that pizza.
Oh, thanks. Switch up my memory card just in case the power goes out when I have my camera ready. Bought a bunch of new items today. Got those chocolate Twinkies and got those new fruit snacks.
Right.
Well, chocolate Twinkies, they actually taste like a chocolate cream filled donuts.
Oh yeah.
I knew you might do without calling.
Down by where the car wash is and Main Street, those railroad tracks.
Yeah.
All that's underwater.
Is it? Well,
Yeah, a lot of water.
Is it by the railroad tracks there?
Yep.
Oh, maybe after the rain clears, we'll go down and check it out.
Water.
I'm now going to shut this camera off and just switch to another memory card. Today is Tuesday, August 5th, 2014. It is 10:34 p.m. right now. It's my night off of work, and I'm enjoying a bowl of chocolate Lucky Charms. And I'm getting ready to watch the David Letterman show. I have 3 extra minutes to use, so I will let the 3 minutes count.
What's your favorite baseball movie of all time?
Part of the Yankees.
Wow, mine's Ed.
Ed?
Yeah.
Where the heck is Ed?
Listen to this. The Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City, New Jersey, will be closing down forever on September 16th due to dwindling revenue. How about that? I thought gambling, people just love to gamble. That's right. Well, no, not at the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. They're closing their doors forever.
Closing their doors?
For the September 16th. So if you need to gamble, get down there before September 16th.
Yeah, I do.
Now, we called over to Trump's office and we said, Donnie, what's the problem?
Donnie, yeah.
What went sideways on you down there at AC? We have the top 10 reasons the Trump Plaza is closing in Atlantic City.
Direct from Donnie.
We have a storm coming. We do know. That's it.
Eastern Waukesha County in southeast Wisconsin until 6:15 p.m. At 5:38 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located over Heartland, moving southeast to hazard, quarter-size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, damage to vehicles is expected. Locations impacted include Waukesha, Brookfield, Pewaukee, Sussex, Heartland, Delafield, Merton, and Chappaqua. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of the building. Torrential rainfall is occurring.
Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers. Welcome to Everyday Life of Ralph Powers.
That wouldn't show anybody anything. Sure proves something, all right.
See this? That's part of the bag that got stuck to this cup. All because these lids on here, they don't stay sealed too good. Hopefully somebody with KFC sees this video and comes up with a better way to keep these lids from popping off and spilling in the bag like that, and make it look empty like that because it's spilled all over stuff. McDonald's too. Ever go to McDonald's and the bag just disintegrates whenever it gets a bit wet? The food falls out. It's happened to me before. Well, going to enjoy what's left of the summer that's still here by having some KFC for lunch. KFC, man.